Welcome gamers and anime lovers, I'm your host Caleb and you're watching Botboy the Dude. So we have Team Green versus Team Red. Let's get into it. Up first, tank analysis. Alright, so the two tanks are obviously Black Asta as well as Marileona. So let's look at Black Asta. His skill 1, while outside of anti-magic, gives you HP recovery immunity on the enemies. But inside of anti-magic, it gives him 8 special points. So it's an instant ult get back. Pretty good. I mean, it does damage. It's whatever. This is the key part of his kit. His skill 2 is AoE. With skill page, it gives you total defense. Without it doesn't. It also gives you 175% increased defense. And with anti-magic, it removes barriers. Very, very, very important part of his kit. That 175% defense is insane. His ult will taunt when outside of anti-magic, and while in anti-magic, it will remove barriers. He's killing no matter what. But the taunt is very useful for distracting healers. Now, his combined attack is a guaranteed stun. It's so good. It really is so good if you know how to use it. Combined attack is good. Me personally, I would really only upgrade his AoE, but that's just me. So, we all know his passive, 40% anti-magic, yeah. So, this is giving you status ailment immunities when you get under that 40% threshold. Plus, it's making them taunt on Asta when he's in his anti-magic state. That is his kit. That is the red team tank. I mean, we all know Black Asta. He's very popular. Skill page, it's just his passive, but more. It's literally just his passive, but 1,000 more. They could have been a little bit more original. Alright, up next, we got Marileona. S+ in PvE and PvP, looking pretty good. Not out on global, so I will be using Pridwin for a few of these characters. Kaldios Iron Fist. Their first skill, if they have continuous damage being dealt to them, it inflicts taunt for 2 turns. Pretty simple skill, nothing much to it. It's just a taunt skill, because she inflicts burn with her LR plus 5 passive. So Kaldios Brachium Barrage, 3-turn cooldown, AoE. It inflicts barrier removal, so I mean that's pretty good. And when you have her skill page, which is pretty much a must, it gives the whole team Monoskin, which Monoskin gives a 30% damage reduction. So very, very good. Excuse me. Her ultimate, it gives extra turn, kind of like Magna's. And then for every burn damage, you get 65% increased damage dealt. And she also attacks after inflicting barrier removal. So kind of like Asta as well in anti-magic. Her combination skill is a burn. I mean, just more burns. It's Marileona, fire user, Fuego Leon sister. I mean, yeah. Burns are cool. But very useful for her skill 1. Her passive, though, is what really is important. At LR plus 5, inflicts taunt on the enemy with the highest attack. And whenever she's hit, she gives the whole team a burn stack. Which, it ends up being a lot of damage. And then a unique passive when she's at 8 SP, she has Meniskin, which is 30% damage reduction. So, very good. Overall, I would say for the tanks, I would say Asta wins. Just because that 30% damage reduction is kind of the same thing at the end of the day as block, which is the total defense. So, for tanks, I would say Asta wins. Next up, damage analysis. Yeah, we got Hatred Fauna. Boys, can we give it up for one of the best waifus? Can we just... Whoa, whoa, whoa. Too much applause. Too much applause. No horny. Alright. So, S+ in both categories. So, this one, her skill 1 is pretty much basic skill 1. She is doing 35% increased damage dealt if the enemy has a taunt active. As well as she applies 1 hatred stack, which only comes into play with her ultimate. So, next up on the list, sorry, I had to stretch. Applies 2 hatred stacks to self whenever she uses this. 60% chance to inflict taunt on enemy. Honestly, I don't think she really wants to do taunt when you're using the right team. And it also inflicts burn. More burn, which is very important for Mario team. Her ultimate, I don't like her for this reason as much. It removes a barrier from her ally, or one of her allies, and it does like increasing damage depending on the amount of hatred stacks you have. You can see it was 50, 70, 100, 130, 180. Combined attack, inflicts taunt. Yeah, just taunt. She does a lot of taunting. I don't like it though, because once Marileona came out, they finally got their thing, and they really don't need it. Also, this I hate. When your HP, when you get 5 hatred stacks, your HP is lowered to 1%, and then you're given immortality. Then it's brought back up to 50%. And then when taunt or enhanced taunt is active, you get 50% more damage. I don't like that 1% to 50%. I think it's dumb. And then turn 1, everyone gets status element immunity if they're all green. But I mean, it's a weird kit. It's like she's trying to be a tank. The reason I don't like that barrier removal is because you're going to be using her in conjunction with Green Charlotte. And she only gives one person the barrier. So you're essentially removing all barriers that you have on your team at a time. It doesn't work that well. But who for red side? It's Asta.
Número 3. Support analysis.
Alright, on to supporters. Now, Asta obviously won the last one. So, first thing, she just grants +1 SP to the ally with the highest attack. That's all there is to it. Excuse me. Grants a designated ally +2 SP. She also grants designated ally status element immunity, but this is for like more free to play, so I'm assuming you're just getting her from Gateway and not doing summons. Grants designated ally debuff immunity as well, and 40% chance to reduce your own skill 2 cooldown by 1 turn, which in conjunction with talents can actually give you your cooldown. Skill 2 cooldown like nothing, like you'll just have it. So her ultimate's actually very important. It's like the whole part of her kit. 54% damage reduction when you have it maxed, which you should. Also grants defense penetration level 3 to the ally with the highest attack, and also enhanced barrier duration. So you'll get your barrier extended by 1 turn, which when she goes into battle, she has your whole team barrier equal to like I think 80% of her max health if your whole team is green. So that's really great. So her combined attack, she actually gives her character a 100% of her max HP barrier, which is pretty good. LR +5. Every turn grants the ally with the highest attack 50% of own max HP barrier. That's good. Also grants taunt immunity at max. So the only difference between LR +2 and LR +5 is the taunt immunity. Honestly, it's not that much. You shouldn't go for LR +5. She only needs +2. If allies all belong to Sense. So yeah, but I'm sorry. Can we just give it up for the waifu? Alright, next up we got Finral, the man, the myth, the absolute legend. His skill 1 gives people 42% increased speed to 2 random allies. I mean, not much to say there. Well, it's 2 random allies with the lowest mobility, so it's not random. It's yeah, okay, I failed. Alright, increased attack level 2, increased damage dealt, and increased mobility. The increased mobility is only if you have a skill page, which you should. He's an SR. I mean, very important. Increased speed on his ult, the whole reason you use him, debuff removal, and increased crit rate. He is overlooked because he's just speed meta, but he actually buffs your damage by quite a bit. You should really take in consideration how much this man actually buffs your damage. It's absolutely, it's bonkers, bro. So I didn't actually mean to click on that, but you know what? We can come here anywhere. Combined attack gives people plus 84% attack and increased mobility. I mean, this is absolutely insane. Look at him rising me up. He's also going to give increased mobility. This is going to be great because speed meta. It was a meta for a reason. It's great. What is? Yeah, the passives of SRs are just terrible. Reduced unfavored damage dealt. Who cares? Who actually cares? Actually, green meta. Wait, I care. That would be me. I care.
Alright, so now on to the debuff analysis.
All right, let me know who you think won that last competition. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments because I think both of those characters are a work of art. Sorry, it's real. First skill, don't even mention it. We don't talk about it. It's terrible. Reduced defense level 3, so minus 60% defense. That's his skill 2. It's an AoE, and it also grants buff removal. This can be very strong later game when people have a lot of buffs. If you remove the right ones, it can change the tides of the game. Incapacitate level 3 for 60% increased damage and 40% chance to stun. This has stunned 3 out of 4 people multiple times for me, and I feel like it will for you as well. I mean, this guy's great. I love him. Buff immunity on his combined attack. Honestly, a lot more of a niche. Combined attack, but I'll take it. Alright, so upon using a skill 2, he extends debuff duration on one enemy, which is actually very good because you have incapacitate on your ult, and then if you incapacitate them, extend that debuff duration. Also increase damage against defenders. Real cool, bro. So anyway, doing the incapacitate, extending the debuff duration, applying the minus 60% defense, they're gonna be so squishy. It's gonna be insane. He makes them just so squishy, it's absurd. Alright, so we got red for the mono red team. Upon attacking someone inflicted with silence or total silence, you get a +2 SP boost. I mean, that's pretty good considering he flicks those with 3 of his 4 skills. If you're on a mono red team, plus 20% mobility, which means he will be moving first, basically all the time, unless they have a Voltos. First skill, increase mobility by 20% whenever you attack. I mean, this guy just wants to go every turn. He just wants to spam his ult and go every turn. So this is an AoE that has a 30% chance of inflicting silence, but you can get that up to 50 if you max it out. It's okay. I mean, I would have preferred if it was something like 70, but we take what we can get, right? I still like it as a character. White Spear. This one gives you taunt, reduce mobility by 20%, and also inflicts total silence on someone. This is very good. This is essentially Blue Yami ult, but a little bit better. And this one gives us silence. Yeah. I mean, it's good. He silences everyone. Hooray, I mean, for debuffers, this is pretty hard to determine. I'm gonna have to give this a draw. This is a draw. Red and green are like neck and neck.
And for our final category, the healer analysis.
So, final category, we have Queen of Witches. And the Queen of Witches is S in PvE and PvP. I mean, we'll see about that. Skill 1, she inflicts bleed and also grants HP recovery to the defender ally, equal to 15% max HP. I mean, that's a lot of healing. I'm just going to be honest. Plus, bleed is very good for a kit. You'll see why later. Chamber of Blood. And 50% chance to inflict poison, bleed, and burn for 2 turns. Inflicts reduced HP recovery. I mean, no one does that anymore. No one's running Mimosa. JP Mimosa just came out, but I really don't think it's going to shake up the meta like that. Her ult is what makes her good, though. Inflicts bleed, dealing continued damage for 3 turns. Grants 50% lifesteal for all allies for 2 turns, and sets the ally with the highest defense stat to 30% HP, which allows Asta to get into his anti-magic. Boys, that is literally like the only reason we use her. So, combined attack, HP recovery equals 60% of max HP. It's useless. You're going to be using your ult whenever you can. Never use her combined attack unless it's like on the other person, which still it's useless. Like Sakura levels of useless. I'm just kidding. Sakura's not useless. I will fight you for that. LR plus 5 at the start of wave grant 10% of one max HP as HP recovery to all allies for each instance of continuous damage inflicted on an enemy. Increase lifesteal effect by 100% on special move. That's LR plus 5. LR plus 2 is the same thing except without the 100% extra lifesteal. LR plus 2 is enough. If allies have the power attribute, grant Crimson Blood to the defender. Crimson Blood is immortality when you're at 30% or less. So, Queen of Witches wins the healer category because there is no other competition. They have no healers. Congratulations, Queen, you have won. So, what is my final judgment for the team? Which one should you go for? Well, Marileona versus Asta. Asta's better. Everyone's like, Monoskin, reduce damage. Yeah, but he has that in his total defense. People don't realize that total defense is like the same thing. They just don't think about that. So tanks, Asta wins. Asta just wins that. For damage, Asta once again wins that. He does a way more damage. He's not as consistent, I do admit, but he does nuke a lot better. I would say for damage, Asta wins. For support, the reason I say they're close is because they have their own roles and they fulfill those roles like perfectly. I would say overall support is for green, but at the same time speed is just so great. So honestly, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna give them both a point. Both get a point, so 3-1. For the next category, debuffers, again, very close. They both have their own niche uses, but they're very good at their niche uses. They're professionals and masters of their craft. I'm going to give them both a point again, 4-2. And then for the healer category, well, Queen of Witches is the only one, 5-2. So we have 5 points and 2 points. Now, while this can't be decided just off the point system, you can see how you have the better tank, you have the better damage, you're getting the only heals. And, I mean, I don't know, well, what about the barrier? What about the barrier? When Fauna uses her ult, she gets rid of her own barrier. Don't worry about the barrier. It's not going to be there for very long. It's going to be decimated by their own team. You don't have to destroy it. It's their team destroying it. Mono Red's better. I'm sorry. I used to be the Mono Green guy. And then I woke up to reality. Life isn't the way it should be in this cursed world. Mono Red's better. That's the conclusion. Mono Red's better. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I hope y'all have a wonderful day.